In 2023, a private equity firm paid $414 million for a single roofing company. That same year, PE deal volume in roofing had grown 116% in 6 years. Right now, there are over a dozen institutional platforms actively acquiring roofing contractors across the country. And here's the mechanic behind all of it. They buy local operators at 3 to 5 times earnings. They combine them into a platform. Then they sell that platform at 9 to 11 times earnings. The math only works if they take market share from someone. That someone is you. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly who these companies are, the specific playbook they run in every market they enter, and what independent contractors need to do right now to compete, because you can beat them, but not if you don't understand what you're up against. Let's get into it. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on our weekly contractor marketing content. Before I tell you what they're doing in your market, you need to understand why they showed up in the first place. Because this was not random. The US roofing market is $92.5 billion. There are 109,000 roofing businesses in this country, and the top 3 players combined control only 60% of total revenue. A $92 billion industry where no single company owns more than a silver of the market. Thousands of local operators, most of them running without institutional systems, without professional management layers, without formal financial reporting. That is textbook rolled-up terrain for private equity. Now add the demand story. The median age of owner-occupied homes in the US is now 43 years old. Asphalt shingle roofs last 20 to 25 years. There is a massive replacement wave in motion right now that is not slowing down. Then factor in weather. $27 billion weather disaster in 2024. More than $50 billion in insured storm losses in 2025 for the 3rd straight year. Roofing demand is non-discretionary, recession-resistant, weather-driven, and backed by an aging housing stock that keeps generating work regardless of what the economy is doing. That is why institutional capital showed up. And here's who specifically came. Omnia Exterior Solutions, backed by CCMP Growth Advisors, already operating across 22 states with 11 roofing partners and growing. Vertex Service Partners, backed by Alpine Investors, targeting the top 50 US metros with a specific focus on pricing discipline and technology infrastructure. Infinity Home Services, backed by Light Bay Capital, 28 brands and over $500 million in revenue. Stronghouse Solutions, backed by O2 Investment Partners, 59 locations across 30 states. Canopy Services, backed by Trivest Partners, launched in 2025 and already acquiring across Florida, the Midwest, and Northwest. Apple Roofing, backed by Gage Capital, 26 states with dual focus on retail, re-roofing, and storm restoration. All-Star Services, backed by Morgan Stanley Capital Partners. When Morgan Stanley entered the space, they described the opportunity as being in the very early innings. Early innings. These are not small experiments. There are major institutional bets with serious capital behind them. And when there is a move that most contractors have missed entirely, and it is just bigger than anything I just listed, that is not about who is installing roofs. This is about who controls the entire ecosystem around you. QXO acquired Beacon Roofing Supply for $11 billion, then agreed to acquire Top Build for $17 billion. $17 billion. Think about what that means. The companies that supply your materials and the companies that install roofs are moving towards shared ownership. If that play completes, the largest institutional roofing platforms and their material suppliers will be operating inside the same financial structure. Independent contractors who are not aligned with the ecosystem will be buying materials at a disadvantage, competing against platforms that have a supply chain edge built directly into their cost structure. That is a different category of threat than anything I just described. These platforms have a specific operational playbook. It is already running in markets across the country. Here's exactly what it looks like on the ground. The CAC Engineering play. The first thing PE platforms do when they enter a market is raise prices significantly. Independent contractors typically price a standard residential roof at $400 to $700 per square. PE-backed platforms are targeting $800 to $1,200 per square on the same job. They make it work through consumer financing embedded directly into the sales process. The homeowner is no longer looking at a $12,000 invoice. They are looking at $189 a month. But here's a mechanic most contractors never see. At $800 to $1,200 per square, PE platforms generate significantly more gross profit per job. Most gross profit per job means a higher allowable customer acquisition cost. For a full roof replacement, they can spend $1,500 or more to acquire a customer and still hit their margin targets. Most independent contractors cannot afford that CAC and stay profitable. So what do they do with higher tolerance? They pour into Google. PE platforms are spending $30,000 to $50,000 per month on digital advertising alone. In some markets, their monthly lead generation budgets reach $500,000 to $800,000. The typical independent contractor is spending $1 $1,000 to $5,000 per month. That is a 10x spending gap minimum. I've seen this happen firsthand in South Florida. We have been running ads for a roofing client down there for several years. The results were strong, predictable costs per lead, solid return on ad spend. The system was working. And over the last 2 years, everything changed. PE-backed companies started moving into the South Florida market in a serious way. They came with institutional budgets and started spending aggressively on Google. CPCs went up, cost per lead went up. The campaigns that used to be profitable started showing diminishing returns. We got to a point where the economics no longer made sense for that client on Google Ads alone. This is not a campaign problem. This is a market structure problem. PE entered, engineered their CAC, and repriced the entire auction. If you have noticed your Google Ads getting more expensive over the last 18 months and wondered why, now you know. That is happening right now in markets all over the country. LSA Dominance play. Google local service ads is still one of the best lead channels for local contractors, but PE platforms have figured out exactly how to own it. LSA ranking comes down to two things: review volume and budget maximization. PE platforms run dedicated systems that collect reviews after every single job, not a reminder, an automated process running at scale across every location. At the same time, they maximize their LSA budgets without caps. They tell Google to take every available lead. The results, in market after market, the top LSA positions are increasingly owned by platforms with thousands of reviews and uncapped budgets. Independent contractors with a few hundred reviews and a conservative daily cap are getting pushed down the list. Not because Google changed the rules, because PE learned the rules and executed harder. The labor play. PE platforms are not just competing for your customers, they're competing for your best people. They offer full W-2 employment, comprehensive health insurance, 401k matching, fleet vehicles, and structured career progression. Your best project manager, your top estimator, your most experienced sales rep, they are being recruited right now. And here's the part most contractors do not think it through. When PE takes your best estimator, jobs get delayed. When they take your top sales rep, your close rate drops. When your most experienced project manager walks out the door, your customer experience suffers. The business that took you a decade to build starts to feel fragile. Not because you did anything wrong, because someone with institutional capital decided your employees were more worth to them than to you. The Renovo Warning. Not every PE platform survives. In November 2025, Renovo Home Partners, a PE-backed platform doing $650 million in revenue, filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy, left behind $100 million to $500 million in unpaid liabilities, thousands of employees without jobs, hundreds of homeowners with unfinished projects and lost deposits. They grew too fast and too much debt. When retail demand softened and interest rates stayed high, their debt service exceeded their cash flow and collapsed within weeks. That failure tells you something important. That platforms built on leverage are vulnerable. A few bad weather seasons, a few bad quarters, and the whole structure can come down. But the platforms built on real operational systems are a different animal entirely, and they are in your market right now. Here's what I want you to understand. The PE playbook is not a secret, and most of what they're doing you can do too. Without institutional capital, without a private equity firm behind you, the contractors who study this and execute on the parts they can control will compete. The ones who ignore it will get squeezed out. Here's the Counter-Playbook. First, speed to lead. PE platforms have automated their lead response. You need to do the same. Research shows that contacting a prospect within 5 minutes of an inquiry increases your conversion probability 21 times compared to a 30-minute delay. Most independent contractors are calling leads back hours later. You are paying for those leads, you need to capture them. This is exactly why you build Contractor Link for every client we work with. It is a CRM system built specifically for home service contractors that automates your entire lead response the moment someone submits a form. Instant text, instant email, automated follow-up, an automated follow-up sequence running in the background while you are on the job site. You do not need to be sitting at a desk watching a dashboard. The system responds for you, keeps the lead warm, and routes it to your team so nothing falls through the cracks. The CRM with automated lead response is not optional anymore. It is the baseline for competing in a market where PE platforms have dedicated intake teams and technology doing this at scale. Review velocity. Google uses review count and rating to determine your LSA ranking and your map pack visibility. PE platforms have this systematized. You need a process that runs automatically after every closed job, not a reminder to your crew. A system that makes it easy for every satisfied homeowner to leave a review in under 60 seconds. Review generation is no longer a reputation play. It is a lead generation infrastructure play. Pricing and financing. PE platforms are not cheaper than you. They are more expensive and they are winning. The homeowner is not always choosing the lowest price. They are choosing the most credible option presented in the most compelling way. If you're not offering financing at the point of sale, you're losing jobs to companies that are. Not because their product is better, because they made the decision easier. Point of sale financing is accessible to any contractor. It does not require institutional capital. It requires a conversation about monthly payments instead of a lump sum invoice. The trust mode. Here's a structural advantage PE cannot buy. When a PE platform acquires a local contractor, prices go up immediately. immediately. The sales rep who shows up is a complete stranger. The personal relationship the homeowner had with the owner is gone. The company that used to be run by someone in the community is now a line item in a portfolio. Homeowners notice and they push back. Let me give you a real world example of what this looks like. A homeowner in Broward County needs a full roof replacement. She gets 3 quotes. The first one is from a PE-backed platform, $16,500, professional proposal, financing options on the cover page. The sales rep was polished, but she had never met him and would never see him again. The second and third are local contractors. One of them, the owner, shows up personally to do the estimate. He has 450 Google reviews from neighborhoods she recognizes. He leaves his personal phone number on the quote. His trucks have his name on them. His website shows photos of jobs 3 miles from her house. His quote is $13,800. She does not choose him just because he is $2,700 less. She chooses him because he is one she trusts to actually show up and finish her job, because her neighbor used them last year, because he's not a company operating out of portfolio. He's someone with this name and a reputation on the line every single day. That story is playing out in markets all over the country right now. PE is handing you the contract. Use it. Personal cell phone number on your quote. Show photos of your completed jobs in the homeowner's neighborhood on your estimate. Have the owner show up to every estimate personally. Make your local ownership an explicit part of every touch point, your website, your proposals, your truck, your social media, not just a footnote on your about page. The homeowner who is deciding between a corporate sales rep and a local owner who shows up, knows their neighborhood, and has his name on the truck is not a difficult decision. Make sure they can see the difference clearly. PE platforms are running Google LSA, Google Ads, Meta Ads, and automated retargeting simultaneously. Independent contractors running on a single channel are structurally exposed. The typical independent contractor is allocating less than 3% of revenue to marketing. PE platforms are investing 6 to 10% or more. That translates to a $30,000 to $50,000 monthly digital ad spend versus $1,000 to $5,000 for the average independent. You're not going to win the spending war, but you can win the structure war. LSA for emergency demand capture, Meta for project-based demand creation, reviews and GBP coverage across your metro, and a follow-up system that converts leads before competition even picks up the phone. The system does not require a $50,000 monthly budget. It requires the right channels working together with real tracking behind them. Storm response automation. PE platforms do not manually respond to storms. Neither should you. When a storm hits, the first contractor to contact the homeowner wins the job 68% of the time. PE platforms have automated their storm response. When weather data detects a hail or wind event in a specific zip code, their campaigns activate automatically. Past customers in the affected area get a text within minutes. The average contractor manually launches a storm campaign in 18 hours after the event. By then, the window is mostly closed. Weather-triggered marketing automation is available to any contractor for $150 to $500 per month. PE figured out and built out into their system at scale. You can set up the same thing up this week. Here's the bottom line. Private equity is not coming for roofing. It is already here. Over a dozen platforms, hundreds of acquisitions, institutional capital, centralized systems, and a playbook built to dominate every market they enter. The contractors who understand what is happening and make changes now are in a strong position. The ones who wait are going to find themselves priced out of digital channels, losing their best people, and competing against companies with 10x of their marketing budget and supply chain advantage that did not exist 2 years ago. But here's what PE cannot buy. They cannot buy a 20-year reputation in the community. They cannot buy the trust a homeowner feels when the owner of the company shows up in person. They cannot buy the reviews you have built job by job from neighbors who actually know your work. That is your moat. And the contractors who combine that trust with the right systems, the right channels, and the right follow-up infrastructure are going to be in a completely different competitive position than the ones still running the same playbook that ran 5 years ago. The market changed. The question is whether you are going to change with it. If you want to know exactly what that looks like for your specific business, your market, and your competitive landscape, click the link below and book a free strategy call. We will look at where you stand right now and tell you exactly what it will take to compete at the next level this market demands. And if this video gave you a clearer picture of what is actually happening right now, subscribe, and there's a lot more coming. Most contractors in your market have no idea this conversation is already happening. Now you do. I'll see you in the next video.